You know what? I constantly get reports of you sabotaging your show. Yeah. Like people doing emotional scenes and all of a sudden they look over and you're filming them.
Yeah.
Before the season.
I'm leaving.
No, sit down. Before the season, Noah was like, man, I see you guys in these blooper reels and they look so fucking fun. I would just want to laugh and be on camera in a blooper reel.
Well, I got
and
some
I said, I
blooper.
can handle that.
Welcome to Peacemaker, the official podcast with James Gunn. I'm James Gunn. I'm here with my co-hosts, Jennifer Holland and Steve Agee. Steve Agee.
Don't
And I'm
point
eating
that Cheeto at me.
some meat-flavored Cheetos, which are delicious. And Cheetos, you should sponsor us, not because of any reason other than we legitimately love your products. Except for I'm the only one that likes the meat-flavored one, but other than that, we love them. All right.
It's a classic Cheeto lady. I am Jennifer Holland. I play Emilia Harcourt.
I'm Steve Agee. I play John Economos.
Today we're diving into season 2, episode 7, titled Like a Keith in the Night. It's directed by Alethea Jones. And joining us around the table today, we've got Danielle Brooks, our lovely Leota Adebayo.
Howdy.
Joining us again. Thank you for being here. And we have Nhut Lee, the flamin' hot Cheetos eating Judo Master.
Ding dong.
bitches.
And as always, we will be giving away spoilers. So if you have not watched the episode yet, go to HBO Max now and do so.
Ding dong, bitches. Do you remember any of the other alternate options that James had you say other than ding dong, bitches?
Yeah. So that day, James wasn't directing, it was Brad Anderson's
This was from
episode.
season 1.
Season 1. And so that morning I texted you guys like a dozen different options. I think in the script it was just Ki or something like that.
Yeah.
'Cause you're
And then I ran in, I said, ding dong, bitches. And then there was like, who ordered pizza? Or, something really stupid.
Who ordered pizza? That's insane.
Or like, I remember one, it was like, what happened to the black man? Because Martin was on the ground. He had died at this point. The most random thing. So I'm glad.
What happened to the black man?
I'm glad it was ding
Cuckoo,
dong,
ka-choo.
Yeah, he might say that in the future.
You were just telling me about your heritage. I was asking you what your actual heritage is, and you were saying
Yeah, I am 100% Vietnamese. Both of my parents were born in Vietnam. I was born in Vietnam and then came to the States when I was 6 and grew up in Pennsylvania, surrounded by cornfields and tractors.
Y'all didn't ask me where I was from or my background when I
know.
first came on the show. She's just
It is
black
kind
from
of
the South. I'm just kidding.
We thought you were Vietnamese.
Yeah, like you didn't ask.
I just assumed you were 100% Vietnamese.
I didn't want to tell the people though.
This is the first time Nhut's been here with us. And so, Nhut, what was the process like for you first coming onto Peacemaker?
You mean from audition or?
Yeah.
So this was, this is sort of a crazy story because this happened during sort of the pandemic. And so I, at this time, was living in LA for about 12 years. And I thought I was going to move back to Philadelphia and give up acting. I was going to teach pottery full time. Because by this time I started doing pottery.
He's really, really good at a potter. He's a good potterist.
He made us some stuff too.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
A potter. A potterist?
I
The
love
female
it.
form of
James
potter.
Actually, that
That's
sounds a
right.
little bit
Potter.
like, that doesn't sound good.
You're not a Harry Potter.
Not Harry Potter.
No, but not
Clearly.
Potterate.
Nhut made us all. We got
Mugs,
Peacemaker mugs.
Yeah,
which are pretty
for
cool.
wrap
it.
gifts.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're great. I
Like
use them all.
chips and stuff.
I make everyone wrap gifts. So I actually, at that point, found a house out there. I was in escrow. A week before I was supposed to
Wow.
sign, I get booked for Peacemaker.
Oh, my God.
And so my
You ruined
agent-
your life.
My agent called me and I was like, after she told me, I was just speechless for like a full minute. Like, because in my mind, I had already reconciled that I wasn't gonna do that anymore, so.
But I remember you did a video. It was very unusual.
Yeah.
You did a whole video of like
Yeah.
kicking people's asses or something.
Yes. I sent in my stunt stuff, like fighting stuff, because Judo Master is such a physical role. So I sent all that in first. And then they were like, okay, we need to see you do hand-to-hand combat, because all the stuff I did before was weapon stuff. And so I'd just gotten my wisdom tooth out when I get this call, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go right in. And so I run home.
The life of the actor.
With my,
How was that again? What did you say again?
oh yeah, I'll stand right there. I'm holding my jaw so I can't speak. So
You can't say no.
right, I'm
let him do
like,
it.
I got it, and so I sent that in, and then they sent me the sides to do it, and I remember at this point I had a little mannequin at my house, and I printed out John's face. I don't know if you saw my audition tape.
I
for this.
did, yeah.
So I printed out John's...
That's why I know about it. I'm not saying it because I heard about it.
Rumors.
So I printed out John's face on a piece of paper, taped it onto this mannequin,
So smart.
and was doing all of the Judo Master bits around this mannequin with like eating chips and like rubbing it on him.
Wow.
That's
it was
awesome.
very silly.
Good for you. You
Wow.
killed it.
Now, in the original script, was he always eating Flamin' Hot Cheetos? Because I remember when he was hiding in the cupboard in that episode, the reason you hear him is because he's eating chips behind you.
He's eating chips.
But they're actually not Flamin' Hot Cheetos, because it would be too much of a coincidence that there were Flaming Hot
Right.
Cheetos in the cupboard. So he
Yeah.
found whatever chips were in there.
yeah,
He's a snacker. He likes
snacking.
foods.
Do you think, is he like Popeye with spinach, where Flamin' Hot Cheetos maybe give him a little bit of strength and power?
I think he is someone who maybe
Sounds
likes
like a Cheetos
the
commercial.
pain of the flaming hot Cheeto, like just to remind him that he's alive.
Oh, wow. We were talking earlier in the room. We're like,
Masochist with flavor.
I actually think Judo Master doesn't give a fuck what anybody says.
Yeah.
I think that Judo Master is the most sort of secure in himself of probably anybody in the
Yes.
primary Peacemaker.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah, we were speaking about this briefly before, and I was telling James how freeing it is to play Judo Master, because Na in my normal life is, very reserved, very nice, and like observe etiquette. Whereas Judo Master, like, he can beat anyone up, so he doesn't care what anybody else thinks. Like, if the person's 3 times his size, whatever it is, he has that freedom in his confidence and security that he's gonna eat, and his mouth is gonna be wide open while he's talking to you, because he just doesn't care,
So we're going to get into the episode now. We can't talk about the beginning of 207 without talking about the end of 206, which is where we discover that we're in Nazi world, basically. And this was something I was really sensitive about. Danielle, do you remember this? We
I
had a lot
remember
of
you calling
conversations.
me. Yeah. He was like, D, like, I'm gonna send you the scripts. You let me know. And I was like, I'm good. I'm really good. And I do really think about that. I'm very aware of what we're bringing into the world, but it's true to the world we live in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are fucking ugly
Yeah.
and mean. And so I just felt like, yes, let's tell this story. I'm down to tell it with you. You know?
Yeah. And I think that was important for me, because I would have changed it.
Yeah, and I know you would have.
It is about all of that, but it's also about sort of the just Peacemaker's spiritual journey, where you say to him in episode 4, your character does, of Leota says to him, the grass isn't always greener, basically. This is where God put you. This is where you belong. But he keeps trying to go to this place that does initially seem like it's the greatest thing. But it's like, it's the same way somebody who's married with somebody that they love for so many years, that has so many, great qualities, but also flaws that they see. I haven't seen any yet in Jen. But someday I might. And then they get distracted by somebody who seems great after talking with them for 5 hours. And they screw up everything and they have an affair. Mm-hmm. It's like life is complicated. And he hasn't really taken the time to see exactly what this other world is. And he's not a racist, but he was raised as
Certain way.
in a certain way, and he doesn't notice that they're aren't any people of color anywhere around him.
Which a lot of people don't, though. A lot of people do not understand there's people that have a different walk of life than they do. I think I have been so fortunate to live in New York,
Yes.
where the worlds are so different. You go to Harlem, you go to Chinatown, you go, upstate, you go to Washington Heights, you're gonna hear some different kind of.
Yeah.
The world is so different and beautiful, but there are places where people. There really ain't no black folk.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Or where
Vietnamese
where
people,
I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, is an incredibly segregated place.
Yeah.
And there are black people there, but it's they live in white people, black people live primarily in different places.
Yeah.
And when I grew up, there was like Jen makes fun of me all the time because I always thought there's black people, there's white people, and then everybody else is white.
That's how I was.
Mexicans are white.
Right, right.
I never once in my until I was pretty old, embarrassingly old, I never thought of a Latino or a Latina as a person of color. Just thought they were white. And in fact, there were so few Asians in St. Louis, it was like they hung out with white people because there was nobody else they could hang out with. And then, now I live in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it's a much different experience.
Wakanda. You live in Wakanda.
If you live in Wakanda, you're pretty.
He's gonna live in
You know
Wakanda
some
forever.
black folk.
If you live in Wakanda, everybody's got a little flying saucer hat that they fly around with. And, that's what black people do.
That's what Atlanta is, Wakanda.
Wakanda is, but Atlanta is you go out to a nice dinner and in an expensive restaurant. It's just totally a multicultural experience.
Yeah.
It's not.
And it's been great for me. I go to the gym, and these half ripped white guys are just wait, you're in Peacemaker. You're in Peacemaker. But that brings us together.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would have talked to each other otherwise, and now we're coming into each other's worlds.
Yeah.
And I just love that about what we do.
I lived in a gated community for a while in Atlanta. I was the only white person in my gated community. And there's no difference in this gated community from any other gated community in America, except for one thing in the houses. Do you know what it was?
What?
They all had a barbershop. Or what do you call it?
Yes.
Beauty salon. Yeah.
Yeah.
They all did. And that's not in,
No.
you go into a gated community in St. Louis and the houses are exactly the same except for that. There's wrapping, what do you call them? Wrapping rooms?
In the South, they often have a gift wrapping room.
A room
Oh,
for
yeah,
gifts.
that's some southern.
That's some southern
Yeah.
crazy
stuff.
shit, but
Yeah,
we have lived in houses with wrapping rooms.
Ours did too. We got rid of it.
Yeah.
Immediately.
It's like a
Because what are you
weird
going
pla-
to do? I wrap
It's a waste
once
of
a
These
year.
are, these are women who they just are stay-at-home moms and they make really cool things all day long and
It's a craft.
it's a craft room. But who crafts all day? Southern women and
Rich
Steve
people.
Agee.
Steve Agee.
I would love a
Macaroni.
room like that.
You will.
Yes. Yes.
It's a pottery room.
Here's
really.
why. So when you're going through your life, you're like, oh, maybe this person will love this gift. So I'd buy it and then I want to store it in this room
Right.
until it's their birthday or Christmas or whatever, and then give it to them.
I like that
He's a
idea.
lot more thoughtful than all of us.
Oh, he's very thoughtful.
In this sequence, when we open up,
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't realize we're in Nazi world.
Come on, how was I supposed to notice that?
There's the big reveal of the Hitler painting.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you can see of it in the cut anymore because the joke about it has been removed. But they actually had a bunch of the guys shave Hitler mustaches, and they had to keep these on them for days while we were shooting. So they were having to leave our set.
We're doing
Were
a
those
Charlie,
real mustaches? Weren't fake
No,
mustaches?
these dudes
no.
actually
We're doing
had
a
to
Charlie
shave.
Chaplin movie.
They had to shave their faces.
They were waddling down the street just so people didn't think
They were doing this,
In
your
Atlanta.
favorite.
Yeah, because originally it was a 3-beat. Harcourt says to Peacemaker, you don't notice all the Mein Kampf, on
copies
every
of-
desk,
copies
copies of Mein Kampf on every desk. And he says, what? I don't read books. And then she points to these guys standing next to the copier. What about all those stupid little
The
mustaches?
lame little mustaches.
And there's all these guys with Hitler mustaches.
And they cut to all these guys.
And
with
then
Hitler
she goes,
mustaches,
what
right.
about the giant fucking Hitler mural? And that was the funny one. That I got to say, the lame little mustaches looked too cartoony for me, so I cut
Yeah.
it. It didn't look It looked real. It looked staged. It was.
Those poor guys are gonna be. They're gonna be.
I'm sorry.
So sad that it got cut.
Well, let's give a special thank you to the little Hitler mustache boys. And then we have Danielle being chased by
I know, being
the mob
chased
of
by
white
the
people.
mob, which is the scariest thing. I definitely thought about my ancestors. Okay, it was like y'all was really running out here.
Just imagine zombies or white people, and that's
Oh my
what
gosh,
was happening.
it was crazy town.
And you go into the swimming pool.
Yes,
Looks like you're surrounded. Looks like you're dead.
which. I mean, it was a lot of fun to do that.
Was
when I
it?
read it because I have to say I was a little jelly. I had a little FOMO that Adebayo didn't get to meet herself in the alternate universe.
I know.
So it was really cool to at least have the pool scene. And then this one caught me.
Zippity zap, bitches!
Judo Master.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
were surprised
Yeah,
to see
I
Judo
was-
Master there.
Really excited to have a scene with Danielle because we barely got a chance to interact in season 1.
Yeah.
So when I read, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so fun. Behind the scenes, Danielle is so funny. Like she always makes me laugh. So I was excited to get a chance to.
Yeah.
He was really excited because I got a text that day saying, "You should come by set. We're electrocuting racists in the pool."
Yeah. That's crazy.
But it was weird because we had to go and we talked to the crew, and it's just weird, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
and also, it was such a spoiler, we didn't want it getting out. So then we have Harcourt and what's his name? Peacemaker.
Chris Smith, aka Peacemaker. Yeah, we're riding on the motorcycle.
Escaping. We have Keith and Augie dealing with the tied-up Economos, who is his ultimate cowardly self.
Nothing I said was true.
You didn't make anything up.
Shit. Like a human lie detector.
And then we have Judo Master and Adebayo in the safe house.
Yes.
Which he's picked because there's the most snacks there.
Most snacks, yeah. That night was one of the latest nights that we were working. And poor Danielle, they had to spray her down with water.
Yes.
And we had to wait outside before they called action. And I saw steam emitting from her body.
But then, like, I feel like they had a bunch of ACs blasting in the room to keep it cool, but it made me really, really
Freezing.
cold.
Yeah.
Also, wet is hard to
Yeah.
control. It's hard to control. Mm-hmm. We have that great moment where, you said to Adebayo, you have this excited look on your face, a little gleeful Judo Master, where he says, that's the most people I've ever killed at one time by electrocuting them in a
Yeah.
swimming pool. And she says,
What was the second most amount of people you've ever killed in a swimming pool with a telephone wire?
4.
it's a lot more than 4 this
Yeah, it's
time.
like-
So you did, it's like, when you've got a good score on a video game,
Right.
and then you do
Crush
your
it.
high score by like 3 times as much.
But also my question is like, I'm sure he doesn't get a chance to interact with a lot of people. So just having someone ask him these questions
To
he's
brag, too.
excited about.
Yeah.
Because like in his mind, he's like, okay, I killed maybe 15 this time. So like I'm waiting for someone to ask me next time.
yeah. And then you're in a particularly intimate situation where you play a nice game of Scrabble.
Shout out to Kendrick Lamar.
And
Scrabble up.
and
Scrabble up.
you have a unique bonding experience being the 2
People of color.
minorities
Yeah.
for at least free.
And queer. I think,
True.
I don't
Yeah.
know if your character's
Yeah,
queer. I
he
just
said
made
that.
you.
Yeah.
Did I just make that up?
No, because he says basically everything that I
Right.
am.
Yeah, he talks about being gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice moment.
Yeah,
was
that's a nice moment.
Man, if I would have known you was this cool, I never would have tasered you.
We have Vigilante 2 and Vigilante 1. Kellen was the stand-in actor
So good.
for Vigilante 2, and so the way we shot that was with the 2 of them, and then we'd shoot it again on the other side.
Ever since the Nazis won World War II.
Whoa!
What? The Nazis won World War II here? Yes. That's the craziest thing I've heard since I found out Cheerios is an H on the end.
But the back and forth was so good, and Kellen was so good at like really getting the beats in, and you see how important it is to have an actor off screen. So even though we eventually filled it with Freddie, Kellen was doing everything as Freddie was, and he was so funny and so good in these scenes.
Yeah.
We were laughing so much on set just at Freddie and Kellen.
I enjoyed working with him too.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fun.
he's a
It
nice
was
guy.
good, Yeah.
And so it was great, but we learned that there are black people that are in some sort of camps of some type where they're forced to work for everyone else in the world.
And I got out.
And they
I
think
got
you
out
got
in
out of
quotes,
these.
yeah.
So that's where Keith thinks you came from. And then we go to probably my favorite thing in this episode, maybe, is the motorcycle ride with Harcourt and Peacemaker, where it seems like they're probably going to die. And in this last moment where they are being chased by the police and radically outnumbered, we see for the first time ever Harcourt give in and lean her head onto Chris's back.
And takes her hand
And he takes
in his
hand
and squeezes
and he
it.
squeezes it, and you see that look on
That
John's
love.
face that is like
my gosh.
incredible, where you just see him so happy.
John has always given 100% in whatever he does, but like this season,
Yeah.
I mean, the depth of his work is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He really has like just grown so much as an artist and as an actor. Like, you know, you're like, I don't know which one of you all went to Juilliard. You know, everybody knows it is me, but
Was it you?
I mean,
but I'm
it's,
just saying.
it's coming from an Academy Award
I'm just
nominee that's saying this. So that means something. If you had said this 2 years ago, it wouldn't have
meant shit.
Wouldn't have meant jack shit.
Right?
But now,
It's respected now.
Now it means
John
something.
Cena, like, just shout out to him. And you will see, like, even throughout the season, other scenes, which, you know, we're not talking about today, but I just really was like, wow, as a scene partner, this is exactly what you want. Like, somebody who just will give you everything and, I don't know, like, you can bounce off of and just, he picks that ball up if you toss whatever to him. I just think he did a phenomenal job.
You know what I think happened? I think he really took it to heart when on season 1 we were all like, we all got to get on to Danielle's level.
We got to come up to
I'm
Danielle's
just
level.
saying,
That's right.
yeah,
We did say that even before you were an Academy Award nominee. We said
because
we
y'all
got to
knew
come
the
up.
potential. Y'all knew
We
what was
knew.
happening.
We knew it was going to.
It was just a amount of time.
It was. Yeah. It was
You know?
predestined.
John does not say no to a challenge.
I mean, he got nominees.
Nominee.
But not. God said
You would
not
be
yet.
fucking impossible if you
But I tell
fucking
you,
won
people
that.
should not sleep on this show season 2 because I do believe we should be nominated. I mean,
Agreed.
And again, John Cena's
Yeah.
work this season.
You heard it
was-
here, folks.
Don't sleep on Peacemaker, y'all.
I mean, so many great performances,
Yeah.
and when you have a show like this, it is hard. But you see the stuff you do this season. I got to say, next episode is some of Danielle's best work in
thanks.
anything ever. She's incredible, and Freddie's work throughout. Jen, you know, last episode, that stuff seen with you and John at the table, some of my favorite stuff ever. Even, you know, nah. But Steve,
Oh, here we
he
go.
needs to come up to everybody else's level.
That's impossible.
I gotta say,
I'm comfortable
jokes
on my
aside-
level. I have fun on my level.
Jokes
You guys are all
aside,
stressing.
Come on, jokes aside, though, you leveled
did.
up. You're fucking great in this season, man.
So funny.
Yeah,
My girl right here.
yeah, and a great acting coach too. He helped me when we had to be drunk.
What advice did he give you for being drunk?
He was like, "Don't act drunk." He was like,
You act like a person who's drunk trying to act sober.
So you
Yes.
try to.
And that was given to me by Nick Offerman.
"Okay," and thank God you gave me that because I mean the scene was so much fun to do. And once
Yeah, it
you
was so
gave me
fun.
that note, I was like, "Okay, we
was
got
fun.
this." Because I was stressing.
Me
I was
too.
like, "Oh my God, this is gonna suck. We're just coming back." No.
You're both so good.
That
in
scene's great.
scene.
It's
It's a
fun.
great scene. I just realized that motorcycle ride was my favorite thing to shoot
Oh,
ever.
wow.
I don't know how to describe it. It was like there was magic in the air. We were just riding
Alethea
around.
Jones did a really great job shooting that scene.
She did. It's really beautiful.
Can I
The
just
sun
say
was
this,
shining.
though? The
It was
glow on your
amazing.
face. honey. We need to take a moment of silence for the glow. It gave everything.
Well, we can thank our crew for that because it was just they were bouncing something beautiful on.
That shit.
What were you guys? What were you when you were shooting the scene with you on it? Were you on an actual motorcycle on a plank, or were you on it? Were you on a trailer?
Yeah, we're just driving around on the motorcycle
Yes.
strapped into the trailer and
Yeah,
we're just
yeah.
riding around.
Great.
It was a beautiful day. I mean, it was my favorite day of shooting.
Yeah.
I left that day just like contemplating life. It was amazing.
So the motorcycle ride ends. They're surrounded by cops. It looks as if they're about to die when they are saved by Augie and Keith.
Two of you want to live? You come with us now.
We have Rick Flag Sr. and Bordeaux meet up with, of all people, Sidney Happerson from the Superman movie, who happens to be my friend Stephen Blackheart, who is Lex Luthor's #1, who is the world expert on dimensional interconnectivity. I think Stevie's great in that scene. And
Good fucking job, Happerson.
thank you. You love the way Sacha Bordeaux walks, you said?
Yes, my God, girl. Give her runway immediately. Every time. It was not just that scene, but like every time you allowed her to walk somewhere. Oh my God. I was like, strutting. You just need like RuPaul's music just right in the background of everything.
So Keith and Augie then take Chris and Harcourt in with Economos.
Dude, I'm sorry. You fucking stabbed me in my hand.
And Chris tells him the whole truth, that he killed Peacemaker
So
too,
sincerely, too.
but he did it by accident. He didn't mean to do it. It doesn't seem to matter to Keith, which has got to be heartbreaking for him. At the point when they're getting somewhere, there's a knock at the door, and we see our old friend Larry Fitzgibbon, probably the only white cast member that we have from the main cast that could still be alive in Earth 2, because obviously Song isn't there, at least not working on the police force, and Myrn isn't there. I did at one point write
You did, yeah. I
a
was gonna
big
talk about
plot line for Myrn, and it just got to where he was sort of like
He was a Sons of Liberty guy.
he was a Sons of Liberty.
Yeah.
He was a hero.
Oh, that's
He
so
was
cool.
like, whereas Myrn on our planet was like the worst guy in the world before he became a butterfly. Myrn on their planet was like the sort of kick-ass Harriet Tubman
I was
of
about to
that
say Martin
planet.
Luther King or something.
Yeah, but he was like a total action hero. So, but, I mean, listen, there's still the future. There's still an Earth 2. We didn't blow it up. It still exists.
Can Addie please? I want to meet myself.
Yeah, what are you doing
So
over
bad.
there?
I don't know, but I just want to have a British accent. I really don't, but I'm just like, I really thought Freddie was gonna pull out his British accent on us.
Oh, that would have been
That would
funny.
be interesting.
I was like, what?
Two vigilantes join Judo Master and Adebayo. There's a little confrontation between you and Vigilante.
Yeah.
What are you with this guy for? I hate this fucking guy. This little fucking guy.
You hate me because I fucked you up? Yeah, I remember that scene was fun to do because Freddie is like 6 feet tall and I'm 5'1" in heels. No, I'm not 5'1", I wish. But like, I do go toe to toe with him, and I remember filming and looking straight up at him. And,
I loved it.
And again, I didn't give a shit because, Judo Master can beat up anyone, so.
I remember at one point I was trying to break y'all up. I was like, stop. And it was like, girl, go sit down. You're doing too much. Just let him have it.
And then we get to kind of the last act of the episode, in which Augie ends up being the only guy who's not a fucking Nazi.
I applaud you if your world is perfect and you fight every injustice you ever see. Is that what you do?
He is so much like Harcourt is in our world, who doesn't try to change jack shit, but she does kind of what she can, but that's about it. And that's kind of all the 11th Street kids. We're living within a corrupt system, and so many people in this planet are like that.
I fight the madman murderers and monsters in front of me because that's all I can control.
And we also learn a little bit more about Peacemaker 2, that even more hearing about how he was not a good guy. And you see that Augie has real compassion for our Peacemaker. He knows his son was a bad guy. He loved him. He knows that he loves him, but he knows he also, with looking at it in a sober fashion, was not a good human being. And he can see that the Chris from our planet is a good person. And he wants to save them. He wants to save all of you. Just have you go back and never come back. And as Augie goes into this big speech about the way he sees the world, Vigilante pops through the window, and nothing is ever clean cut in the world of Peacemaker. And he stabs Augie Smith to death.
So harshly.
Just, you can't believe you're seeing it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Like, even though, what would you expect from Vigilante?
Right.
You still are just like,
Did he?
This guy just like was the nicest guy saying, let's not have any more killing. Let's get you out of here.
Let's get you out of here.
Boom.
Like it's like you didn't even
Killed.
like put him in a headlock first and be like, "You want me to take him
No.
out? You want me to?" He just went,
Straight for the jugular.
Like the moment before when Peacemaker sees Vigilante in the window, and
He
he's
knows.
like, "Oh fuck, what is he
Yeah.
gonna do?"
And he's about to
You
speak,
know?
and then
knows.
it's
Yeah.
so fast.
yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was hard to cut because it was how long does he look? And you do hear Vigilante in the background saying, he had, Economos all tied up. So that was the reason that he gave himself to murder him. And there's a little bit of action beat, just madness of people shooting at each other. Steve, what was it like getting dragged on that seat there?
I have claustrophobia. So
Poor
first
Steve.
of all, being strapped to that chair was a little disconcerting. but
Why don't you do a shorter list of us of the phobias that you don't have?
I don't have a mushroom phobia,
But also you get.
but also I have vertigo.
Yeah.
And my vertigo is at its worst when I am flat on my back. And this like whole episode, I'm like, once that chair gets knocked over.
at like midnight, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
It was a long shoot, but also everyone was really nice. Like Cena was just like, "Hey, can we fucking get him up? Get him up!" Like everyone was really looking out for me, so it was good.
Yeah. People were aware that you had vertigo from the beginning, and so.
And they tried to design.
Yeah, we designed the
in a
chair
way.
differently because originally they were supposed to pull from the back part, but we found out it was a little easier for you from the other ways. So we had wheels on there, right? On
Yeah,
the thing?
it was way better than I imagined it was going to be.
So as you're about to go back into the other world and get away, Keith tackles Peacemaker and seems to be about to kill him when Eagly pops in and starts beating the shit out of him.
Sorry, we have to bring that up.
What?
Danielle.
Oh, bring it up. Who broke the
okay.
chair?
First of all,
That was so funny.
this happened. So someone was not being safe.
Yeah.
They switched out a chair that had been a regular chair
For a stunt chair.
for a stunt breakaway chair.
was scored.
And didn't tell
They didn't tell.
anyone. And I looked at
That's
that and I was like, this is a problem.
I never knew this until
I was
now.
like, this is a breakaway chair,
Well, let me
right?
tell
Because
you.
they're about to fly through this wall. And then Danielle comes in after I've already said
Well, let me
this.
tell you this too. I have a teacher in college. They said, when you're working, you got to find moments of rest. So if you get a chance, sit down. So that rang in my head. What I go do? Sit down.
And the chair broke? Oh my God.
I mean, like comedy breaking.
like totally.
yes.
Built,
And she just sits there and she's like,
It's built
so
to instantly
confused.
break once you hit it because that's what it's for. It's a
Nobody
stunt chair.
told me.
I mean,
everybody was laughing.
The best was though.
But you were okay.
fine.
Yeah.
The best was after that. Anytime someone was in that room and wanted to sit down, they would check before they sat on something.
And I was like, it's one of those moments where you're like, of course this is happening to me. Out of all people. Yes,
Yeah, that's right.
me.
Came back
Yep,
with it.
makes sense. That was a crazy night.
Oh,
so
okay.
funny.
So Eagly starts to protect him, and then all of a sudden, everybody piles on protecting their brother, Chris. Harcourt starts to strangle him. Vigilante starts to stab him. Even Economos and
We're all holding him down.
Adebayo are beating the shit out of him, and even Judo Master comes in and starts protecting Chris. And at that point, all of a sudden, there's this sort of horrifying, terrifying moment where Peacemaker screams, a real guttural scream, and says, please, please get off of him. And it's obvious that he's reliving this trauma that he experienced when he was a child where his brother died. And he pushes everyone back and he holds his brother, who hates him, in his arms. He says, it's not my world that's wrong. It's not your world that's wrong. It's me. And he flashes through all the people that have died at his hands and is in hell.
What made you want to do the episode, or gave you the idea of kind of the grass is greener on the other side and going into these worlds? What gave you that? Is that something you always wanted to do, play with?
I love high concepts like that. Like there's a book by Philip Roth called Counterlife that is, a literary novel about a guy who has another world, another life, and another version of himself. There's a book called Replay which is a science fiction book, very good book, about a guy who he's riding the bicycle. He's about, late 50s or something. He's riding the bicycle down a suburban street, and the bicycle falls and everything goes black. He wakes up in blackness, and he feels, and he reaches over and he turns on the light, and he's 18 years old in his dorm room, and he just relives his whole life.
Whoa.
And then he dies again.
Same place?
And ends up in the same place, and he kind of keeps reliving his life, and you see like it's a cool novel. It's also kind of painful because he was in a bad place with his marriage, or he was divorced or something, and then he has a child, but he chooses not to marry the woman in the second life, which means he's saying no to his child existing. And it's all these different choices he makes, and also kind of taking advantage of the other lives. So I've always loved those sorts of stories about alternate worlds. And we've seen a lot of, recent comic book multiverse stories, but it's never a specific, this is my life and this is my life in the other world. This is my world and there's this one specific other world. It's always a million things are happening at once. But to me, that's not the fun thing about that premise. The fun thing is, when we walk in and we see Hannah and Rocks is spelled with 2 X's instead of CKS. But I also thought it was a great way, the innate sadness that we feel in the first episode, the immediate sadness that we feel when we see his brother, who we know the death of his brother has driven all of his choices in a pretty unhealthy way. And when he sees his brother alive there for the first time, the emotion of all of that just seemed to be a really good engine for a series of television. And it seemed to be a way to have the show continue to be a science fiction show in the same way it is in season 1. But it's not the same. It's not like the horror science fiction. It's this magical science fiction that's more psychological in its space, more overtly psychological.
Yeah, I loved it. When I read it, when I saw there was going to be 2 Harcourts and 2, I was like, oh my God. I just was like, this is going to be the coolest thing ever. Because as an audience member, I love that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yes.
You definitely executed so well.
And it makes it more fun, too, because we know the characters so well because we had a previous 8 episodes of television with these characters. I made a trilogy of superheroes of Guardians of the Galaxy. People, love these heroes, and I do, too. I've totally fallen in love with them. Peacemaker, it's 2 seasons, 8 episodes apiece. That's a lot longer. And you really get to fall in love with these characters. You really, really love them. And it makes all of their moves for me as a creator, but also as as an audience member, it makes everything they do more potent, When, Judo Master and Leota are in there talking about their pasts, it's not like we're writing 2 characters we don't have any investment in.
Right.
We're writing 2 characters that one character that we love, one character that we're starting, that actually does have a lot of love out there. Judo Master has a lot of people that love him. But I think that we start to love him more because we're starting to learn more about him, and he's not a bad guy. He was never a bad guy because he, was trying to do the right thing in season 1. So anyway, that's really, and so that moment there with John is just terrific. Everybody reacts, and there is one final beat there, which for some reason is really intense to me, which is where Harcourt, after everybody runs out, Harcourt asks for Vigilante's gun, and not really asks, and she's just going to fucking execute Keith there on the floor, because she sees that there's a pretty good chance that Keith will come after Peacemaker.
Yeah, she says, I can't have you coming after him, not us.
Not us.
Him.
I can't have you coming after him. She's protecting Chris. And it's this emotional moment because we've seen now that she has some amount of love for him.
The way that I view this moment is that she's willing to sacrifice his love for her to save him, because she knows, I think what's going through her head in that moment is, if I do this, he's never going to be able to forgive me. I know he will never forgive me.
But you think he will know, because I tend to think that Harcourt is the type of person that will never say that she did it. And is okay with never saying that she did it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
You know, I don't know.
But
Yeah.
there was a witness.
Yeah. And I will say, in the original draft, she kills him.
Yeah.
I like the cliffhanger though. I like being like,
I like, it's literally we see the origin story of a new possible villain.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that you can, in one way, the whole season is Captain Triumph's origin as a supervillain. A white supremacist piece of shit supervillain. And we see at the end, we see that look in his eye, and we're like,
literally,
oh.
his one
And
eye.
it's not-
one good eye.
Yeah.
It's also not dissimilar to Peacemaker's origin story, where it's like his brother is killed and his father is killed.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a cycle.
And what a weird supervillain to have as your archenemy
I
is
know.
your
Brother.
brother from another dimension
Really
who
good.
killed yours because who hates you because you killed yourself.
Really good.
And
Oh.
I'll bet you that Peacemaker is not smart enough to change that code on his door. So
Not without your character.
So they come back to Earth 1. They walk out onto the lawn together. You said Steve was pulling some shit
Oh,
at night.
Nah said
Said
it.
Danielle.
When is he not?
You said it not?
Okay, so you know that scene when we're walking out, everyone's very serious. We're about to face off against Argus in that lineup. And so one after another, we were all in line. And right before
I am
Steve-
now remembering. I would hold you and keep you from being able
he
to
would
walk
push
out.
me across the room. I would scurry back.
because they wanted a specific sort of like rhythm of how we would land
Right.
on our marks.
Yeah. And then Steve would like crack jokes and everyone's like trying their hardest not to laugh and like stone face walking
To be
out.
fair, it was a fucking long night. This was so late at night and everyone was fucking upset.
I'm getting that this is a
I'm like-
pattern here.
Trying to fucking get some levity.
Yeah, sorry, your life is so hard.
Not mine. I was totally fine. Noah was fucking like, can you believe we're here this fucking late?
Yeah, he's furious.
Right,
This is
That's
yeah.
right.
Danielle was
That
like,
sounds like not.
Right, and
Danielle's
that's what
like-
prompted him to
That
push
sounds
me.
like, yeah.
Danielle's like, I should have been a fucking doctor. What am I fucking doing
Yeah.
here?
You know what? But I mean, it is another. I constantly get reports of you sabotaging
What?
your show. Yeah, constantly get reports about you, like people doing emotional scenes, and all of a sudden they look over and
Yep.
you're filming them.
Yep.
No,
And I think
Yes,
now,
yes.
Day one.
You remember the last day that I shot with you, we were doing the van.
Yeah.
And the camera was behind Steve's head
Yeah.
onto me.
Yeah.
And I was doing the lines and Steve was like scrunching his face.
Yeah.
And one take I was like, Steve, and I broke and then we had to redo it because that's
I
what
got
Steve
him
was
back.
doing.
I got him back. It was
What
one day.
poor nut comes. He doesn't get to spend that much time with us. You know, he's becoming a more
Steve.
important part of the team maker.
No.
And you're trying to sabotage
Before
his
the
performance
season.
so that you look good.
Before the season.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
No, sit down. Before the season, Noah was like, man, I see you guys in these blooper reels and they look so fucking fun. I would just want to laugh and be on camera in a blooper reel.
Well, I
and
got
I
some
said, I can
blooper
handle that.
of you messing up your line.
Oh,
You remember
boy.
that?
Oh yeah,
I got
episode
your
1 of season
ass.
2.
That's right. I got you in a hotel.
Deservedly so.
And I got you back.
And we
It's true.
we should really share this.
Oh, yes.
Because
It's true.
I have never seen someone mess up a line so many times in a
repeatedly.
row. Like just couldn't say it.
It
What was the line?
He's explaining
I'm
marital
I know.
I'm
I
explaining
remember
marital radar.
And a couple months ago, Marital Radar picked up an anomalous signal coming from his house.
And I had, for weeks, when I had downtime, was, because this is a big chunk of technical dialogue.
It's like 3 sentences.
No, a very technical shit that doesn't even exist. So it's like memorizing gibberish. And I was pretty good. And then we show up on set and I fuck it up the first time. And that was just like done. I also couldn't apologize to James enough. I was like, I'm so fucking sorry. I drove home texting him. I was like, James, I'm so fucking sorry about this.
So I'll get your revenge on a future podcast. Where I
That's
mock you
true.
for it.
But he was
Danielle?
also,
But Danielle was filming you in that
she was
scene?
filming.
Oh, she was filming and
I'll send it to
laughing,
you.
and it was like such sweet revenge from what he
That's
did to
fine.
her episode 1, season 1.
That's fine. I deserve it. But James knew I was fucking so embarrassed that, like, as soon as he had a cut of this, just that scene, he sent it to me.
It all ended up okay.
Also, coincidentally, earlier in that speech is the word surveillance. And I told you the story of my worst audition was for a producer session. I would walk into a room full of writers, director, producers. It's a callback. The word surveillance appears like 20 times in this audition. And I fucking was way off book for this. And my first sentence out of the line is, have you guys seen the surveillance vid?
No.
Sorry. Can I take, they're like, yeah. Have you guys seen the surveillance? Have you guys seen it? And they're like, just go on. It's okay. And that word is through the whole thing. Every time I came to it, I said surveillance to the point where peripherally, I see fucking shoulders of everyone watching me laughing. And I finish, I go, I'm sorry. Thank you.
That's happened to me.
I walk out.
I walked out too.
I walk out the door, close the door, and as loud as I can, I yell, surveillance!
Oh my
And my
God.
whole walk to the car, I'm going, surveillance, surveillance, surveillance. And I get to this fucking scene, and the word surveillance is in it.
Oh my
and
God.
that might be what fucking set me
Trauma of
up.
that word for you is deep.
He's got
When did you walk out?
This was a Broadway
insane.
show, and I was auditioning. Same thing, suits just lined up. Didn't tell me, just call back, and same thing. I just could not remember any of the lines. I couldn't even when we did the music. I was so sharp. Like the girl was just fumbling, trying to make jokes to get through it, and I walked out to her and said, "I'm sorry, this is not my best work. I'm sorry," and I left. And everybody I don't know if they laughed at me, but
were laughing at me.
everybody wrote me like the sweetest notes. The director, the casting, they wrote me the notes. It was like, "You're good, Danielle. This is," because it was early in my career too. It was just like,
I've had times when actors have just totally messed up and it just happens sometimes.
I texted my agent on the way home, and I said, you're going to get some feedback. And everything they say is absolutely true.
Chris Pratt did the screen test for Guardians of the Galaxy after I had already auditioned him. I loved him in the role. He was perfect in his audition. And then he did the screen test when really my only job there is I'm directing him so that I can take show the film in a theater to everybody at Marvel and Disney and say, this is a guy I want to hire. That's my only job, is to get him, because I know he's the right guy. Oh my God, he was just hurting. He talks about it today because I went behind the scenes. We actually built a whole set and everything. I went behind the scenes with him, and I was like, this isn't good.
It happens
You got to get it
sometimes.
right, man. It's like I don't know what to say in that case. Like I'm trying to be a good director. Like I see other people. Sometimes actors get in their heads, and one of the things I say to them sometimes is, and this is different from this, is
This is going to sound more callous than
it's going to
is.
sound more callous than it is for sure. I say your feelings don't matter, because actors start to think that I'm feeling like it's bad. I'm feeling like it's bad. I can't get there. I can't get there. I'm like, no, you can get there. Just do the acting.
yeah.
You're a trained actor. You've put years of your life into this. How you feel in this moment has nothing to do with how it's being projected towards a camera that's picking you up. So how you feel has nothing to do with
That
the scene.
100% applies to what my thing is.
Yeah, it does it?
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
Because you're one of my best friends, but when we're working, you're almost more like a father figure, and I fucking never want to let you down.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that was like, oh my God, I am going to fuck this line up again. So even after we finish a take and we're about to do another, you'll be talking to me, or you're talking, and in my head, I'm not even listening. I'm just saying the line over and over in my head.
Yeah.
Because our brains do that. Like it's like you can tell yourself it's not my feelings, but your brain is telling you otherwise. It's just telling you.
I know, but it's okay but that's
Yeah.
also okay. It's
Yeah.
also okay that your brain is telling you otherwise. That's the thing. And I know this not partially because of acting, but mostly because of writing. It's like I sit down, and some days I'm like, everything's magic. It feels great, Other days I sit down and I'm like, I fucking suck. This sucks. Oh my God, this is fucking terrible. The screenplay's gonna suck. It's
Yeah.
gonna suck.
You still
I
gotta
have
do
found
it.
that those things don't really matter that much.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go and I read the stuff that I wrote when I was telling myself I was awesome, and I'm like, this is shit.
But the
And then
difference,
other
though,
days I
James,
read stuff
The
that was.
difference, though, James, is that you can toss that away. Nobody ever has to see those things that you didn't like. When you're on that TV,
No, but a lot of
screen,
times,
we have no control.
but a
on
lot
what
of times
y'all
it's
use.
better when I'm talking shit to myself, because it doesn't. I mean, yes, a lot of times there's a correlation between how you feel and how it comes off, but a lot of times it really doesn't make that big a difference. And how many stories do you know about actors who went to auditions, thought that they bombed terribly,
And then
went home
So many.
sobbing, and then that was their magic
Got the
moment.
role.
Yeah,
They
I
took-
think
yeah,
that's
that
how
happens a lot.
I booked this show. Was I was ready to give up acting. This was my final audition before quitting, you know? And so I just had fun and I didn't care at that point. And so we were talking about this before. It was that point of complete surrender of there's
Surrender's
no
awesome,
pretension,
yeah.
there's no guard, like let's just do it.
The episode ends with Peacemaker being arrested and taken off.
He hands over the.
We
the-
see Judo Master
He hands over the case.
go
the-
back to the dark side after being with the
Switching
light side
sides,
for a
yeah,
few moments.
yeah.
It's weird because I
little
don't
sad.
look at it as like a double cross.
I
It's almost
don't.
like a double
No.
agent who's like,
I look at it like,
it's
like
better for us if he's in their good graces.
I also
He has
don't.
to do that
also,
in that
like he's
moment.
saving himself, and
Yeah.
in addition, he does the fucking right thing in a moment, which is really beautiful. I find it touching when Frank says to Judo Master,
That your take on it, Rip?
and he says, "Yeah," and so that means that you're allowing everyone else but Peacemaker to go free.
Right. I
Which
remember
is-
it was one of the late night shoots, and we were there for a while. And I remember looking at each one of your faces because it felt like I sort of betrayed Adebayo, you know? And I look over at Chris, and he's telling so much with his face.
Yeah.
Like, John does such a great job with that. I felt attached to him and I want to save him, but yet the best way to save him was agreeing to this.
Yeah. I also love moments in which Eagly just thinks he's a part of the group. He's
Totally.
just Eagly, in Eagly's brain, I'm just another guy. The group walks up and they're standing facing against sort of the bad guy group, and they're what I'm calling the Argus agents, and they're facing each other, and one of the guys is Eagly standing in that line. It's so funny. Anyway, we're going to see next episode. Oh my gosh. Next episode, I will say, is definitely, I can guarantee it's the craziest, wildest, most insane and wonderful episode of Peacemaker we've ever produced.
True.
So I can't wait for people to see it.
And now, Peace Thoughts. Welcome back to another edition of Peace Thoughts, where I share my unfiltered thoughts on moments throughout the series. The gang goes in, tries to bring Chris back, and the plan fails. We learn a lot about the universe, and everybody ends up back at Blue Dragon's house, Robert Patrick. Robert's character, Augie, has the wherewithal and the intelligence and the wisdom to gather everybody up to get to the truth. And Keith, my brother, you see him become unraveled. And you have one character who's hell-bent on this will fix it.
They fucking killed him!
And one wise character who is like, nothing changes it. So let's do right in this moment.
Revenge isn't gonna bring your brother back.
Peacemaker's always wanted love in his life. He's always wanted a father. He now has a dad who's virtuous and a dad who loves him, and a dad who in the moment of question does the fucking right thing. And when is called out by Harcourt, Robert delivers an incredible monologue about like, dude, sometimes shit is bigger than one person. And as one person, I do the best I can every day to do what I can and do as good as I can. What do you do? Which is turning the mirror on somebody who called, like, you're this. Okay, well, what are you? Because I try each day to be useful and good. Do you do the same to the person who can't talk about their emotions, whose life is a fucking train wreck, who goes into bars to get, like, it's super on so many levels. And then, of course, poor fucking vigilante doesn't know what's going on, sees the white dragon costume and does what he should do. Like, this guy's bad for my best friend. I gotta fucking look out for him. Here, Chris finally has a taste of something and it's taken away from him. And he has to watch his dad die again. And then they go into the study to go back into the other universe, and he pretty much watches his brother die in front of him again. And this is where the idea forms of like, the one common thread in all of this tragedy is me. And I'm the person who's keeping these people from living their best lives. I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I fucked up 2 worlds now. It wasn't the world I was in. It wasn't the conditions I was born in. It wasn't the environment. It was me. That's it for this episode's Peace Thoughts. Back to you, James, Jen, and Steve. We now return to our regularly scheduled program.
Song Spotlight?
Song Spotlight. What do we want to choose, guys?
Get ready for some glitter.
Dude, we got some good songs. I mean, there's, Gore-Tex Weather Report by Shining, who had a song earlier in the season. There's We Can Never Die by Veins of Jenna. And then we have Still Pretending by First Signal.
Which is the one on the motorcycle?
On the motorcycle.
Oh, definitely a motorcycle.
Okay. So that's Still Pretending by First Signal off their 2016 album, One Step Over the Line. They started in Toronto, Canada. From vocalist Harry Hass from Harem Scarum, a band I know, and producer
band.
Dennis Ward from Pink Cream 69, which Pink Cream 69 is actually a great band. I know these bands. So they're really a melodic rock band. And we're going to have some melodic rock music on the next episode as well. But they still fit within the genre of Peacemaker songs. So that's Song Spotlight. What do you got, Steve?
Well, we've got Eagly's airmail bag, and we actually have a voice message from one of our editors, Fred Raskin.
Fred Raskin.
Predator.
Hey, James, it's Fred. First, wishing you a huge mazel tov on Peacemaker Season 2. The show absolutely rocks, and once again, it was an honor and honestly a delight to get to put together one of the greatest main title sequences in television history. I have a couple questions for you.
For a second time.
We've known each other since the spring of '95 when I worked as the apprentice editor on the first movie you wrote, the classic Romeo and Juliet. So I've watched your evolution as a filmmaker really from the very beginning. And I know there was a pretty distinct change in your visual storytelling style between Guardians 2 and the Suicide Squad. You started shooting with more cameras, the camera work itself became looser and more fluid, and you've continued in that style on everything that you've done since. It's clearly working for you. But I've never actually asked you, how did that stylistic change come about? Was it a suggestion from Henry, your cinematographer? Maybe another director? I really don't know. I'm genuinely curious. Also, since I'm here, I have a Peacemaker question. Are we ever going to learn the story of how Peacemaker met Eagly? If the Guardians can get a holiday special, maybe Peacemaker could get a 4th of July special in which that story is told? Just throwing it out there. Peace.
Thanks.
I would love to tell the story of Peacemaker and Eagly, but there's no plans right now. But I do.
It's also very expensive.
I would love to have a very Eagly Christmas. I think that would be pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So Fred is exactly right. There was a big stylistic change. That stylistic change is due to a number of reasons. Number one, I had I became more confident as a filmmaker, in so many ways between Guardians 2 and the Suicide Squad. I have to say, on the set of the Suicide Squad is the first time I felt like I, truly kind of deserved to be there, and that I was a good filmmaker, and I understood so many different aspects of directing. Directing is a weird profession because you have to be good at, there's 100 things you should be good at.
So many things.
And anybody can only really be good at 80 of those 100 things if you're the greats, And so you got to be good at a certain amount of things, but you don't have to be good at everything. For me, I was always pretty good at shooting and camera angles and storyboards and that sort of thing. I started to really think about, number one, how to shoot action scenes, and number two, how did I really want the movie to look? Like with Guardians 2, I was still trying to please what I thought mainstream audiences wanted, as opposed to how would I really shoot this movie if I could do whatever I wanted. And that started with Suicide Squad. I really started shooting the movie exactly as I wanted to. The other thing that changed was I used to be really, really incredibly, I'm always prepared, okay? But I used to be to such a degree that there was no freedom on set whatsoever. I just came in, I shot exactly my shots, people said things exactly the way I wanted them to be said, and then we were done, and then I cut it together exactly the way as I had envisioned in my head. starting with Suicide Squad, I started to get more creative. I decided I need to enjoy shooting more. Otherwise, I was never going to be able to continue a life doing this. I would collapse and die. And so I needed to have more fun doing what I was doing. And being on set became more of a creative process. I planned things out, but also I give myself a lot of room for improv, as you guys know, both in improving dialogue and in improving the way the camera moves.
I think there's a good example of that at the beginning of the Suicide Squad, a shot that I don't think was planned, where you're in the cell with Rooker and you're on a reflection in a puddle and then kind of spin around and come out.
That's totally true. It's like one of the first shots
And
in the movie, and that is the perfect example, because I saw that moment and I saw that he was reflecting in that water, and I'm like, well, wouldn't it be cool if we got, and I knew that Henry had this rolly contraption in the camera vehicle, if we got that shot and did it, and I tried it out on my phone or whatever, and then saw that it worked, and I'm like, can we go get the rolly contraption, add a little more water so we can see him a little more clearly? And then we did that. And yes, if that had happened on Guardians 2, I would have gone, oh, that would have been great if I had thought of that while I was storyboarding.
Yeah.
But I would fascistically stick to the storyboards.
From my perspective, you also seemed to allow yourself to be incredibly influenced by some films such as Villainess at this time in your career.
I should really give Villainess a shout out, because I saw the movie Villainess, which is a Korean action film directed by a guy I know now. We call him Director J. And Director J really changed the way action cinema could be. And I saw what he did, and I applied a lot of what Director J did to everything in my action scenes from, Suicide Squad and on. And I made everyone I work with on stunts watch that movie. And I made Henry Bram, my cinematographer, watch that movie so that they know what I'm into in terms of...
It also, you saying that you were stuck to your shots that you had storyboarded and shot them when you got them, you moved on. You would think that opposed to what you then transitioned to, which is looser, experimenting more, playing around with stuff, would start taking longer. But I feel like, having worked with you on Guardians 2 and then Suicide Squad, I felt like we were going through more setups.
Yeah, we go through
a lot faster.
Well, that's also due to some technology with the cameras, with the red cameras that I normally use, and we have figured out ways to light whole scenes, whether it's with Henry Bram on my movies or Sam on this TV show. We're able to light whole scenes so that the camera can move. And that's also a necessary thing to do because of my shooting style.
Yeah.
And then the final thing that really is the biggest, in a way, is the technology. So, Super is a very handheld movie, and it's actually handheld. It's what it is. Season 1 of Peacemaker is actually handheld. But I have these little contraptions that I shoot with, they're called various things, Nano the Pico, that hold a very tiny camera, and it allows us to move around and get in intimate and move back very fast and forward very fast. It's almost like the combination of handheld and a steady cam, but a totally free steady cam. And so
I watched that go from having to have two people hold
right,
it
on Guardian,
Henry just holding it by himself.
Yeah, well, it's called a Stabilize, really the same technology, but the Stabilize, what they used in 1917, it's a big contraption. We were actually the first people to use Stabilize in Guardians 2. That's a very big, heavy contraption. This is a small handheld Stabilize. So that's what I use to shoot stuff. So that's my answer for Fred.
Great. Thanks for the question,
By the way,
Fred.
Fred texts me every day. You could have just asked me
that. All right, moving on. We have two more questions. At Dead by Spoof on X says, where is Peacemaker's mom?
Oh, I know where she is, but I'm not going to give that away.
Interesting.
She was almost in this season.
Oh, shit.
And I even know who I want to cast as.
I did not know this. That's a great question. All right. Then at Diego Buckzo on X writes, what were everyone's favorite scenes to film, this episode or season?
What was for this season your favorite episode?
I already mentioned mine. It was definitely, for some reason, it was that motorcycle stuff.
From this episode.
So silly, but yeah. From this episode, I would definitely say that.
What about for Danielle and Noah? What about for the season? I think we've already discussed the season.
I think 2 for me. Working with Steve Agee in the beginning and the drunk scene, just all the 11th Street kids coming back together, but specifically like having that moment with you was very special. And then when we were all together talking Peacemaker through.
Next episode. We don't want to spoil it, but yeah. That's a great.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite too.
Mine too. That's a beautiful scene. All right.
My favorite episode to film was maybe the stuff in the QUC, which we will see next episode.
Yeah.
Can't talk about it.
You're great.
Spoilers. I also,
that's good stuff.
I just have so many scenes that I love. What about you, James? What's your favorite scene that you've shot?
Oh, that's easy. It's next episode. On the boat. It's on the boat. We get to see next episode what actually happened on the party boat between Harcourt and Peacemaker, and a part of that shooting was my favorite day on any movie set ever. But I really also loved the scene that Danielle's talking about, and I loved the scene from last episode with you and John in the interrogation room, because those are really great scenes.
Can't wait to see more.
Anytime you see actors like doing better than what you thought in your head, because usually it's not as good as what I thought in my head, And so anytime you see somebody really hitting something home, it's like, oh shit, that's the best. That's the best.
This has just been so great. I love seeing all you guys again. Thank you so much for coming, flying across
Thanks for having me.
the country and leaving your beautiful daughter and your husband to come see us. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for driving.
All the way from Sherman Oaks.
At least 15 minutes away.
Oh my God.
It's so sad. It's just so sad. I love this cruise so much, and I'm so afraid we're not going to get to do it again. I just miss you guys if that happens. So we got to hang out. 11th Street kids got to get together.
Yeah.
We got to get some tattoos going. Even if they're temporary, we gotta get some.
Not the Lith Street kids, though.
Lith Street kids, yeah.
All right. Well, next week, join us after watching the season 2 finale titled Full Nelson. Stream new episodes of Peacemaker Thursdays on HBO Max, and then find this podcast on HBO Max, the HBO Max YouTube channel, and wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to check out new episodes of DC Studios Showcase. Frankie, Tyler, and Coy will also be unpacking Peacemaker Season 2. This has been a DC Studios Showcase presentation.
Peace out.
Peace out.
This was an OBB sound production for HBO Max and DC Studios, hosted by James Gunn, with co-host Jennifer Holland and me, Steve Agee. Executive producers for DC Studios are Phil Sopanides and Gary Barbosa. Executive producer for HBO Max is Becky Rowe. Executive producers for OBB are Michael D. Ratner, Scott Ratner, and Toby Lawless. Special thanks to, from DC, Mike Pilata and Victor Diaz. And from HBO Max Design, Tom Haskard, Martha Duarte Diaz, Ryan Cronin, Brett Krause, and John Northway. Producer, Toby Lawless. Producer for HBO Max is Aaron Kelly. Research producer, Jesse Holland. Associate producer, Tessa Bartholomew. Associate producer, Chris Stith. Production manager, Kevin Lynn. Studio coordinator, Elijah Matias. Director of photography, Chris Piper. First assistant camera and camera operator, AJ Knipe. Gaffer, Arthur Garcia. Key grip, Jake Reeder. Sound mixer, Josh Falcon. Sound mixer, Darren Bowling. Post-production supervisor, Mariana Cristostomo. Lead editor, Jesse Holland. Editor, Louis Sinibaldi. Assistant editor, Mark Alcacid. Hair and makeup artist, Kendall Shannon. Hairstylist for Danielle Brooks, Ray Christopher. Makeup artist for Danielle Brooks, Rebecca Aladdin. Director of Creative Development and Social Strategy, Lenore Castro. Senior Coordinator, Creative Development and Social Strategy, Sharif Bakari. Production Assistant, Antonio Cavallo.
No, why do you not like this one? It's so good.
It's weird. It's like slightly sweet, and in my mind, I'm trying to connect it to meat.
It's a weird.
If you told me it wasn't meat, maybe I would like it more.